So we'll just change the camera angle this time more than usual this time, because as you can tell, we're doing this video just a little bit later than usual. Also, it appears Google is flutzing around with the algorithm. So as I always say, please do remember to hit that like and share button, because at the moment that is more important than ever. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And thank you to those people who support me, whether you support me via the links below or whether you just click that like or share button. Like I say, well, like Tesco always says, every little helps. So what are we talking about this evening? Well, we're talking about Northern Ireland. And Northern Ireland, as we've always been very, very clear with, it's a very, very delicate situation. And Brexit has been more or less Boris Johnson in a massive red bus driving it straight into a china shop and basically wrecking the whole thing. And the shenanigans that we've seen Boris pull over the past 2 months or even year, and last year as well, to try and prove that Brexit was going to work or is some sort of success, are not going to work in Northern Ireland, because they are very, very cultural, religious, and obvious, those two main reasons really why they're not going to work. And we've already seen the unionists up in arms about this, to the point where they've pulled out of the Good Friday Agreement, which I've said before, very, very worrying development. But fingers crossed this won't escalate into violence. Like I say, that's one area where I do hope the Brexiteers are right. However, this does create other serious questions, because should there, for an example, be an Irish unification referendum? And I've said that the Irish government should indeed prepare for such a referendum. In fact, I did say that was it January, very early January, of a report from the Irish Times saying that the Irish government should prepare for such a referendum. And the guy even said he expected it to happen this year. And with things now that are gathering pace, I think that could be a very possibility that maybe we could see such a referendum maybe by the end of this year. I don't know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But anyway, we'll get into today's article then on just this subject. So this comes from The Guardian, and the title is Boris Johnson's Brexit Shenanigans Have Met Their Reckoning in Northern Ireland. It was only Achilles' heel that was vulnerable, but it still killed him. And in the Northern Ireland border was Boris Johnson's greatest Brexit untruth. He told the Irish Prime Minister there would be no hard border in Ireland. He told Northern Ireland's unionists there would be no border in the Irish Sea. He told everyone that we would leave Europe's customs union. Johnson was basically saying that anything goes, averse to the despotism of facts. The latest car crash is Johnson's decision to yet abrogate again the Northern Ireland Protocol with the EU. He is refusing to regulate a customs border in Belfast. And since this implies breaching EU's customs control, Brussels is angry and is threatening legal action very soon. We have previously seen problems with some food supplies getting to Northern Ireland, and as a result of the end of the initial Brexit transition period at the start of the year. Trade is not about chauvinist rhetoric, but about people's lives. And as the grace periods come to an end, it is clear that Johnson must quickly decide what to do. Whether to erect customs barriers around the 6 counties, incidentally breaking the Good Friday Agreement, or erect them around the Belfast dock. The first would be a logistical and emotional nightmare. It would probably drive the North's eventual reunion with the South, and have much strife in the process. Or he must do the EU's bidding and barricade Belfast and enrage the Unionists, which he has twice refused to do in legal breach of the Northern Ireland Protocol. He must simply decide. This weekend, Johnson's future undiplomatic diplomat David Frost told the EU to stop moaning and shake off the remaining ill will towards Britain. The ill will is entirely, however, of Johnson's and Frost's making. A relentless story of mendacity and belligerence through the Brexit talks. The EU was never going to make it easy for the UK to leave. It had half a dozen other countries within the bloc to discourage and laboriously negotiated trade deals with many of the other external states to protect. Besides, the real issue was not Brexit itself. The issue was leaving the customs union, which is the precise trouble in Northern Ireland. And versions of such a problem have existed ever since the partition in 1922. It was why Johnson should have levelled with the people from Northern Ireland from the start. Frost's haphazard negotiation left unresolved everything from Scottish fishing to city banking, policing and even cultural exchanges. The Johnson-Frost line that the EU needs us more than we need that the EU needs us more than we need it was always rubbish. But nothing was so glaring as the contradiction of the trade with Northern Ireland. Britain could not leave the customs union. Northern Ireland could not do both. Johnson has been boiling the fudge ever since then, but now the pan is burning, and the simple and honest route is to ask Northern Irish voters what they want. They will never ask if they wanted to leave the customs union any more than was the rest of the UK. That was Johnson's idea. One day, Britain will almost certainly reverse the idiocy and rejoin. Until that happens, international law is clear. A border there must be not. So ask Northern Ireland where it should be. And like I say, it's going to put indeed a very, very, very large hole, I think, through a lot of alliances. I think it's definitely going to upset the Unionists, which is going to have implications certainly down the line further. But also, this also raises the fact of, well, why have we left the customs union and the single market? Like I say, in the referendum to leave the EU, technically what we did by leaving the political side of the union, we could still stay in the customs union and single market. This is exactly what Boris Johnson and the Leave campaign ran their agreement on. This is what other people like Nigel Farage, Jacob Rees-Mogg, any big Brexiteer, even Daniel the Brain of Brexit Hanan, said that only a fool would consider leaving the single market. So why on earth were we suddenly not going to be in the single market and customs union? Well, it's partly because, again, of the hardcore Brextremists or the Brexiteers, because they're free market fundamentalists and they do not like any form of regulations in their market whatsoever. And again, this is their ultimate aim for Brexit Britain, just to get rid of as much regulation as they possibly can and let, quote, the market do as it wills until, of course, the market affects them somehow, and then there has to be some sort of government intervention in form of subsidies, regulation, or the whatever the like, because they demand. Like I say, we've seen this plenty of times and play out not only here in the UK but the rest around the world when we see people of this free market fundamentalism take power. So until basically, shall we say, the more moderate one nation Tories, because that's who essentially got pushed out during the, so we say, the Theresa May years by the hardcore Brexiteers and indeed by the ERG, and again, still a rather powerful force, but of course, as we've said, there are now other factions within the party, and we'll have to see where they go, what happens, who takes over, and just honestly, it's all up in the air once again. The idea that Brexit had been, quote, settled, as we've always said, was a complete fantasy, and here we are now, once again, dealing with the reality, and the fact that Johnson and co and the rest of the Tories do not want to deal with the reality of the situation that they themselves have put the UK in. So, as always, thanks for watching. Please do remember to hit that like and share button on your way out. And of course, down below there is a link to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link. And thank you to all those people who do support me that way. And as always, we'll see you all next time.